So we're 2 episodes away from the end of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and it's safe to say that the reaction to this series, it's been a little mixed. People have been saying it's been a little bit slow, it's been missing things out, the Flag Smashers aren't particularly interesting villains, but there are also rumours that there was a huge plotline or subplot cut from this about a worldwide pandemic and a vaccination. You can see why it was cut, and if you want the clearest hint of this, if you go back to episode 2 and you look at the scene where Bucky jumps on the truck and he meets Carly Morgenstein, pretty much every box around him does say vaccines. There's a few other bits of dialogue as well that hint at something that's been going on in this world that's bigger than them. And that's exactly what I want to talk about. This is why I feel The Falcon and the Winter Soldier may be the most important property that Marvel has put out there since the Infinity Saga. And we'll look into that in a second, but first of all, I'm the Standard, this has been The Geek in Review. Please subscribe and leave a like, and let's get to it. Marvel has expanded and created an entire world, some would say an entire universe on screen. But one thing that Marvel hasn't done that it's going to have to do eventually in this show is kind of lining it up, is it's got to get into the politics of the world. Falcon and the Winter Soldier has talked heavily about the events that have happened post-blip, about how people have been displaced.
Oh, bam, right there. You see these guys? These are the guys you gotta worry about.
How people see themselves. There's a great line in the last episode where Sam calls someone a refugee and he says, "We're not a refugee, we've not been displaced, we just exist back to where we are." And I thought that's fantastic, because in a post-blip world, it wouldn't be a great place to be. So I'm going to look at this in more detail, but in order to do it, we're going to have to go back a bit. So let's go back to the end of Avengers Infinity War, at the snap when 50% of all life on Earth in the universe was extinguished. Let's look at what would have happened, or what I think would have happened, and I'm just going to give you a few things. If you look around the world, depending on where you are, I imagine you're probably in some sort of large urban centre or near one like me. You're probably not out in the country, but hey man, Ohio exists, Canada exists, so cool. But imagine that if half the people where you live were taken away mysteriously, you woke up one day and they were all gone. While this would be initially shocking, the long-term effects of this probably wouldn't be that bad when you think about it. So if you look at, let's say, any sort of large city and you take away half the people in that city, the one thing that you're going to have straight away is excess and affordable living space. Things like rent and mortgages would go down because there'd be less people and there would be more accommodation. Again, not everywhere, depending on where you were. I'm using New York as an example here. There would be more free, empty accommodation than could be filled, which would result in prices and things going down. For a period of time as well, obviously again this would vary depending on where you are in the world and what you eat. The price of food would go down because we'd have an excess of things like canned goods and frozen food, and that would last a while anyway. Again, depends what you eat, who you are and where you're from, but we're looking on a worldwide platform here, is that there would be a lot more to go around, or at least there wouldn't be as much fighting to get what you want. Things like pollution would go down as well. That's mentioned at the start of Endgame, that there's now whales in the river in New York. You would also get a reduction in things like the costs of cars as well. But over a long-term period, the world would suffer because although we've got an abundance of everything to start with, what we're lacking in is people with skills.
I don't even have any good skills.
Because 50% of the people on the planet have disappeared, so you're going to be missing doctors, dentists, mechanics, engineers, designers, graphic designers. Now, the lack of these people means that there is going to be a lack of infrastructure eventually. Given the gap between there being in abundance and us realising that we might have a skill gap, hopefully we'd be able to plug that. Now, This is just a quick review, so I'm just going to jump on to how the post-blip world would be, and given what I've just said, it's kind of easy to piece together. We've had 4 or 5 years of what seems to be relative peace. We've had a period of time that's had an excess of abundance. Again, food, accommodation, cars. The world would have gone back to a bit more civilised place with less people in it. There'd be less conflict. Again, less air pollution. But you drop billions of people back onto a planet that is just adjusted to having less people, and we're going to have not only problems that we have at the moment in our real world, but much more significantly extreme versions of those problems. So on the reverse, we probably wouldn't have enough food immediately. We've already seen in the MCU how things like accommodation and housing have worked. Peter got chucked out of his house that he shared with Aunt May when he returned in the blip, and he was doing a charity fundraiser for that in the last Spider-Man film. Also, what we've seen in Falcon and the Winter Soldier is a lot of people who have been displaced living together. You can see why politics is going to play such a huge part in the MCU with this, because you would need management. We've met the president in the MCU, or at least the previous president, because that was over 4 years ago, he's got to be out now. But we haven't ever seen any political action other than the Sokovia Accords and Civil War that sort of impacted our superheroes. And what Falcon and the Winter Soldier is doing is it's showing us the dark side of this world, and the way that not only do the superheroes live in, that the regular people live in. That is the whole Flag Smashers reason, is if you're going to have a superhero and a super symbol, let's just make it look like us. Let's not have all the muscles and the ripped six packs and the red, white and blue and the marketing. Let's just be a symbol, and it's very much more like Batman as opposed to something that's a bit more contrived, like Captain America was set up to be from when his initial inception was in the first film. And again, the MCU is going to have to get political at some point if they want to bring in the X-Men. You can't bring in a huge series of beloved characters from comics, television and film who've had to deal with being oppressed over potentially decades. Again, it depends on how the MCU bring them in, and not have a political real world element to that. And I think this is Disney and Marvel sticking their toe in the water to see if they can do it, and I think they are. But what do you think? Do you think politics has a place in the MCU? Do you like this grittier real world that we're getting to see in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier? And do you think the X-Men are going to be political as well? Please leave a like and a comment below and subscribe to the channel. You can also follow me on Twitter @TheGeeksReviews. I've been The Standard, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.